Before steel shaped cities, forests shaped humanity. Today, we uncover the hidden journey of wood. The world moves fast now. Cities shine through the night, massive buildings touch the clouds, roads never sleep, factories never stop. Everywhere you look, humanity looks unstoppable. But hidden behind this modern world, is something ancient, something quiet, something most people never think about anymore. Wood. Long before steel, before concrete, before giant machines took over the planet, forests ruled human life. The first homes were built from trees, the first fires burned with wood, the first tools that helped humans survive came from forests. Before kingdoms existed, humans were already shaping wood with their bare hands. Ancient people used sharp stones to cut branches, they built shelters to survive storms, they made wooden spears to hunt animals. And slowly, wood stopped being just survival. It became power. Massive wooden ships crossed dangerous oceans, entire villages rose from forests, empires expanded using wooden bridges, wagons, and ships. Wood didn't just build homes, it built civilization itself. Even today, the modern world still depends on trees. The chair inside your home, the paper in your hands, the roof above millions of families. All of it began deep inside a forest. And maybe the strangest part of all. Most people never stop to think about where it truly comes from. Sometimes we use things every day without understanding the journey behind them, and honestly, some stories deserve more attention than they get. Because behind every piece of wood, lies a journey far bigger than most people can imagine. But that journey does not begin inside factories or cities. It begins far away from civilization. In one of the most dangerous and isolated places on Earth. Far away from crowded cities, beyond the highways, beyond the factories. There are forests so massive, they almost feel endless. Some are covered in fog, some are buried under snow, others stand under heavy rain for months. But all of them share one thing in common. They are quietly feeding the modern world. From above, the forests look peaceful, birds move through the trees, animals disappear into the shadows, wind pushes through the branches softly. But hidden inside this silence, is one of the biggest industries on Earth. Millions of trees are marked every year. Some of them have been standing here longer than entire human generations. 50 years, sometimes even more. Day after day, they continue growing slowly toward the sky. And then one day, humans arrive. Workers walk through the forest carrying paint and measuring tools, certain trees are selected carefully, numbers are marked onto the bark. That mark changes everything. Because once a tree is chosen, its journey has already begun. Entire countries depend on this system, homes, furniture, paper factories, construction companies. All waiting for forests to keep producing more wood. And every year, the demand keeps growing faster. More cities, more buildings, more people. Which means more trees must fall. Sometimes it's easy to enjoy the comfort wood gives us, without thinking about what nature loses in return, and maybe that's why stories like this matter more than people realize. Because deep inside these forests, pressure is building quietly. And soon, gigantic machines will arrive. And when the cutting begins, there is no turning back. The silence never lasts long. Soon, the machines arrive. Huge trucks force their way through the forest, heavy metal tracks crush the wet ground below them, workers climb down slowly, checking equipment carefully. Everyone here understands the danger. Because logging is one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. One mistake, one wrong cut, 1 second too late, and somebody may never return home. The workers wear helmets, heavy boots, and bright safety jackets, but even that cannot fully protect them from what is about to happen. Then the chainsaws start. The sound tears through the forest like thunder. Massive blades cut deep into trees that have stood here for decades, wood chips explode into the air, the ground shakes beneath every cut. Some of these trees are so huge, they weigh more than entire trucks. And when they finally begin to fall, everything moves fast. Workers shout warnings, machines reverse quickly, branches snap violently as giant trees crash into the earth. For a few seconds, the forest feels like a battlefield. Years ago, hundreds of men were needed to cut down trees like these. Now giant harvesting machines can grab, cut, and process entire trees within minutes. The machines never get tired, they never stop moving. But even with modern technology, danger is everywhere. Sometimes people watching from far away only see wood products inside stores and homes. They never see the risk behind them, never see the men standing inches away from disaster every single day. And this is only the first stage of the journey. Because after the trees fall, something even bigger begins. Entire forests must now be moved across the planet. And cutting the trees down is only the beginning of an even bigger operation. Once the trees hit the ground, the race against time begins. The forest quickly turns into a giant transportation network. Massive machines drag giant logs through mud and broken land, heavy trucks line up one after another, workers move fast, checking numbers, weights, and loading orders. Because once the wood is cut, every second matters. Fresh timber cannot stay in the forest for too long. So day and night, the movement never stops. Giant trucks carry trees across dangerous mountain roads. Some loads are so heavy, the wheels sink deep into the earth. Far away, rivers become highways for timber, huge logs float through dark waters while workers guide them carefully downstream. Then come the trains. Long lines of timber stretch across entire rail systems. Thousands of tons of wood move through cities, tunnels, and open land every single day. And beyond the railways, enormous cargo ships wait at ports around the world. Cranes lift giant logs high into the air, containers slam shut, engines roar loudly across the docks. Millions of tons of wood now begin crossing oceans. From one side of the planet to another. Because modern civilization depends on speed. Furniture factories are waiting, construction companies are waiting, paper industries are waiting. And if deliveries stop even briefly, entire systems can fail. It's strange when you think about it. Most people touch wood products every day without ever imagining the massive journey behind them. Sometimes the biggest systems in the world are also the most invisible. Every day, entire forests begin moving across the planet. Millions of tons of wood travel non-stop through roads, rivers, and oceans. But the real transformation has not started yet. Because inside the factories, giant machines are waiting. And inside those factories, giant machines begin tearing the trees apart. The journey does not end when the trees leave the forest. In many ways, it is only beginning. One after another, giant trucks arrive at the sawmills, the gates open slowly, massive logs roll down onto heavy steel platforms. Everything here feels enormous. The noise is constant, metal crashes against metal, machines scream through the air, workers move carefully between giant moving systems. And then, the cutting begins. Huge spinning blades tear through the logs with terrifying speed. Within minutes, a tree that stood in the forest for decades begins disappearing piece by piece. Sawdust explodes into the air like smoke, conveyor belts move non-stop in every direction, robotic arms grab giant pieces of timber and push them deeper into the factory. These machines never stop moving. Every cut must be perfect. One mistake could waste huge amounts of wood. So computers and laser systems now help guide the blades with incredible precision. What once took entire groups of workers, can now happen almost automatically. The speed is unbelievable. Thousands of wooden planks are produced every single day. Some become furniture, some become floors, some will help build homes for families far away. Even the leftover waste is reused. Small wood pieces become paper products, fuel, or recycled materials. Nothing here is allowed to slow down. This is where raw nature becomes human civilization. And honestly, most people never see this part of the story. They only see the final product inside stores and homes, never the giant machines tearing through trees every second to keep modern life moving. But hidden inside all this wood, there is still one major problem. Because fresh wood carries a dangerous weakness. A weakness that could crack buildings, destroy furniture, and ruin everything if factories fail to control it. But fresh wood has a hidden weakness that could destroy everything. At first glance, the wood looks finished. Smooth, strong, ready to use. But inside, there is still a hidden danger. Water. Fresh wood holds large amounts of moisture trapped deep inside its fibers, and if that moisture stays there, everything can go wrong later. Wood can bend, crack, shrink, sometimes entire pieces become useless. Without treatment, floors can break apart, furniture can twist out of shape, even buildings can slowly weaken over time. That is why the next stage is so important. Inside giant factories, the wood enters massive drying chambers called kilns. Huge metal doors close tightly behind the timber, heat fills the air slowly, steam rises through the chambers. For days, sometimes weeks, the wood is exposed to carefully controlled temperatures. The process looks simple from outside, but inside those chambers, the material is changing completely. Workers constantly test the moisture levels, every piece must dry evenly, too much heat can destroy the wood, too little heat leaves dangerous moisture trapped inside. So everything is controlled with precision. Fresh wood is weaker than most people realize. But after the treatment, it becomes stronger, safer, and far more durable. This hidden process is one of the biggest reasons wooden homes and furniture can survive for decades. And honestly, most people never think about this part of the journey either. They see beauty in finished wood, but never the science and pressure needed to make it last. Sometimes the strongest things around us only survive because someone took the time to protect them properly. So factories use extreme heat to completely transform the material. And after this process, the wood is finally ready for the next stage of its journey. Because now, it will begin turning into products used by billions of people. After weeks of cutting, drying, and shaping, the wood finally begins its new life. Inside workshops and factories around the world, skilled hands start transforming rough timber into something personal. Something human. Saws cut carefully through polished boards, machines smooth rough surfaces slowly, workers inspect every piece closely under bright factory lights. Then comes the sanding, the polishing, the final details. Little by little, the wood begins changing into furniture people will use every single day. Dining tables where families eat together, wooden floors children run across, beds where people sleep after long days. What once stood deep inside a forest, may now be inside your home. Entire houses are also built from timber, walls rise piece by piece, wooden frames hold roofs high above families. For centuries, wood has made homes feel warm, safe, and alive. And even today, some of the most beautiful homes in the world are still built with timber. Luxury furniture makers spend weeks shaping single pieces of wood, some craftsmen treat the material almost like art. Because every tree carries different patterns, different colors, different textures. No two pieces are ever truly the same. Every table, every floor, every wooden wall carries a hidden journey. A journey that started far away from cities and homes. Sometimes we forget how much comfort comes from the natural world around us. Maybe that's why people should pay more attention to the stories hidden inside everyday things. Because wood is no longer just survival. It has become part of human life itself. But even after building homes, furniture, and entire cities, the story still does not end there. Because wood's influence reaches far deeper into modern life than most people realize. In fact, some of the world's most important products secretly begin as trees. By now, it almost feels like wood has already done enough. It built homes, furniture, entire cities. But the truth is even more surprising. Wood is hiding in places most people never imagine. Inside giant paper factories, massive machines crush wood into tiny fibers. Those fibers become books, newspapers, boxes, and tissues used by billions of people every day. But it doesn't stop there. Guitars are shaped from carefully selected timber because certain woods create better sound. Kitchen tools are carved from strong wooden blocks. Pencils begin as thin pieces of processed timber. Even packaging materials moving through global shipping systems often begin inside forests. Entire industries survive because forests exist. And some companies go even further. Parts of wood are turned into chemicals, oils, and industrial materials used in products most people would never connect to trees. The deeper the process goes, the more shocking the truth becomes. Modern civilization quietly depends on forests almost every single day. Without timber, factories slow down, construction weakens, paper industries struggle, supply chains collapse. The modern world is more dependent on wood than ever before. And maybe that's what makes this story feel so strange. Most people walk past wooden products every day without realizing how deeply connected their lives are to forests they may never even see. Sometimes we only notice the value of something after it begins disappearing, and honestly, that thought alone should make people stop and think for a moment. Because while humanity keeps demanding more wood, the pressure on forests keeps growing bigger. More land is cleared, more trees are taken, more ecosystems begin changing forever. And hidden behind this massive global industry, a darker story is beginning to grow. Because this worldwide dependence on wood comes with a devastating cost. For thousands of years, forests helped humanity survive. But now, many forests are struggling to survive humanity. Across different parts of the world, illegal logging continues deep inside protected lands, trees are cut down silently during the night, entire sections of forests disappear before anyone can stop it. What once looked alive, slowly becomes empty land. The damage spreads quietly at first. Animals lose their homes, birds disappear from the skies, rivers begin drying out. And once the balance is broken, nature struggles to recover. Some forests need decades to grow, but humans can destroy them within days. Satellite images now show giant empty spaces where forests once stood proudly, burned land stretches for miles, smoke rises into the air. And still, the demand for wood keeps growing. More homes, more factories, more industries. The same material that built civilization, may also help destroy nature. Entire forests are disappearing faster than they can recover. And humanity may be pushing nature toward a dangerous limit. The hardest part is that many people never see this side of the story, they only see finished products in clean stores and modern homes, never the damaged forests left behind afterward. Sometimes comfort hides sacrifice so well, people stop asking where things truly come from. But deep inside many forests now, the silence feels different. Not peaceful. Empty. And if the destruction continues, future generations may inherit a world with fewer forests, fewer animals, and a far weaker planet. Because this is no longer just about wood. It is about balance, survival, and the future of life itself. So now the question becomes even more dangerous. Can humanity survive without destroying the forests that built the modern world? Even after everything humanity has built, the story still leads back to the forest. For thousands of years, trees helped people survive storms, hunger, cold, and war, and somehow, even in the modern age, civilization still begins with wood. But now humanity faces a choice. Destroy the forests completely, or learn how to protect the very thing that built the modern world. In some parts of the world, change is already happening. New trees are being planted where old ones once stood, forests are slowly growing back, workers now study ways to cut wood more responsibly. Children plant small trees into the soil, hoping future generations will still have forests left to protect. At the same time, cities continue expanding, factories continue growing, the demand for wood still rises every year. And yet, wood remains one of the most important materials on Earth. Modern engineers now build giant wooden skyscrapers, scientists create stronger and safer timber products, entire future cities may depend on advanced wood technology. Because despite all the machines, all the steel, all the concrete, humanity never truly moved away from forests. We simply learned new ways to depend on them. The future of humanity may depend on how we protect the forests that built our world. And maybe that is the biggest lesson hidden inside this entire journey. Nature has quietly supported human life for centuries, even when people forget to notice it. Sometimes the world moves so fast, we stop appreciating the things keeping civilization alive behind the scenes. That if this story made you see forests differently, maybe others should see it too. Because behind every wooden product lies a story that began quietly inside a forest, where nature is still shaping the modern world. And even today, the future of civilization may still grow from the trees standing silently beyond our cities. Subscribe for more cinematic documentaries exploring the hidden industries shaping our planet.